This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are honored to be back with Celine Capila. She is a spiritual advisor and medium, and we're excited that she's joining us today again, probably live from beautiful Calabasas, California. Not to make you jealous, but she is amazing. We're going to talk more about her holistic wellness center and all that she focuses on to help you heal the body, the mind, the soul. Pleasure to have you back here today. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you? Nice to be back.
Thank you. Same here, sweetheart. Pleasure seeing you. Tell us a little bit about what it is you do specifically.
Okay, so well, I have been into natural healing since I can remember, so over 20 some years. I used to start with the brain because the brain is our master control center. So everything we do is all natural, non-invasive, and without medications. We are usually the one who gets called when clients have had failure with their medications, or they haven't had surgeries resolve their problem. I personally would say to anyone, please try holistic or natural before you even consider anything surgical or medicine, because of the side effects, because of the repercussions. But a lot of times people come to us because they have tried everything. They are at their wits' end. They're desperate. And we even get referrals by the Mayo Clinic, actually, when they're like, okay, we don't know what to do with this person.
Yeah.
So I consider us like kind of in some cases, the last stop on the bus, because
Hmm.
people just don't know what to do, where to turn. And through word of mouth, we are usually the ones that they get sent to. And a lot of times people come to us with mystery illnesses. No one knows what to do. They've been searching, for 20 some years of their life, being poked and prodded and spending millions of dollars, and just being frustrated at, nothing changing. And we look at things in a very different light. We look at the root cause. We have very, very advanced technologies that help us
Yeah.
that. And these advanced technologies are, I have to say, a lot more sensitive and accurate than what Western technology is available to us. And was a shock to me, actually, because I felt that, even some of our best hospitals would be having some of the most innovative, state of the art equipment and systems, and it's not necessarily true. But I have so many wonderful testimonials how, when people have come to us, some of them had days to live, hours to live. Some of them have had, really some of the most horrible, horrific situations. I remember this one lady, she was having about 33 seizures a day, and she
Wow.
would literally be on the floor. She couldn't sit, she couldn't drive. It was something that just sort of happened gradually, where her mother noticed, something about her walk was off. And little by little, she started to have these, just where her body would just kind of clench up and she would shake. And then that just kept going on, and no one could figure out what the heck was going on with this person. And because she was having such these intense seizures, if you will, she was burning like 8,000 calories a day, and she literally lived on Haagen-Dazs ice
Oh
cream.
my gosh.
But and she had to sleep. When she's sleeping in her bed, she literally had a deep freezer of ice packs, and she would sleep with the ice packs because she was in so much pain. And you can't even imagine living this way. I mean, she was one of the people that was referred to us by Mayo Clinic. Um, and it did take us 2 years before we finally resolved her issues. And it was great because she was patient, and didn't give up. And I always say to people, don't ever give up. there's never a reason to give up because there is always a solution. There always is a silver lining. There always is a way to heal. And so she had signs of improvement when I would actually fly into her house because she couldn't go anywhere. And I would fly in and go to her house and, see her literally laying on her floor in a
Oh,
ball and just, in that mode for, and I would do the brain work on her. I started there because we needed to help with her central nervous system and get her brain right. And I would do infrared lights because she had such intense pain. So it was nerves, it was lights, there was a lot emotional that was there. Um, and it was interesting because a lot of people's illnesses or dis-ease, and I love that word because it's like it's not ease, it's dis-ease. It's the opposite of ease, right? So disease, I think in terms of just discomfort, right? It's I don't look at things as most people do in terms of labels, right? In fact, I very much disagree when people, I mean, when they get diagnosed from the doctor, right? You have
oh,
cancer, you have type 1 diabetes, etc. And I think, a lot of people, they hear that and then they take it on as an identity. And I think people need to be really careful not to do that because what we think about and what we speak about is what we bring about, and I see this more and more now than ever.
time
I,
and time again, right? And by the way, I mean, and I want you to know about, we're going to talk about some of her clients, but I know we discussed this last time, but I mean, people who come into your practice and they have lung cancer, they have pancreatic cancer, stomach cancer. I mean, people are dealing with pretty chronic things here, chronic pain, chronic disease. And addiction, anxiety, all of a sudden it's gone. Not saying that's happening for everyone, but I just cannot believe. I mean, I can believe, seeing is real and listening to people's testimonials about the experiences of what you all have done to help them. I mean, these are like miracles to me. And I'm just impressed that I get to talk to you and work with you because people all over the world, obviously, some of them have been privy to knowing you. And I hope everyone gets to know you because of all the amazing work that you're helping people with. So really, I commend you on all this and I can't wait to find out more. Sorry to interrupt.
oh, I'm so glad you said what you said. Um, a lot of one of the first questions people ask me, after they, maybe they suffered for 20 years or 10 years or whatever, and one of the first things people ask is why don't we know about you, like if you're having this level of success, why is this not, why aren't you more known, and why don't doctors and hospitals have this types of technology that you have? And it's not a happy answer, right?
Yeah,
We have to realize that back in the day, around the 1940s, things started to change. There was a lot of innovation and a lot of methods of healing and using different types of things, frequencies, and a lot of things were changed back then. And pharmaceutical companies were born to light. The education of doctors were limited to medications and surgeries and not allowed oftentimes to even talk about anything natural or nutritional. And, quite frankly, our country is a country that makes money. It's a business. They make money off of keeping people sick. And it's so because it's a business, there is, I do believe that, doctors and nurses are really good people and they go in with the right heart and
intention.
right
Hmm.
intention, but they don't realize that overall the the confines of what they're working under is very strict and it's limiting, and they can lose their license, in fact, in some cases, if they talk outside of just medication as a solution or a surgery as a solution. And so because of that fact, people like me back in the day, way back in the day, were often killed. and also talk to, as you know, they were quacks or witchcraft or whatever. And so that we natural medicine, holistic medicine got bad name, and a lot of the technology was destroyed, as we talked to about Dr. Royal Rife, who was curing cancers and AIDS way back in the day. He was a threat to the pharmaceutical companies, and they destroyed him. They killed him. Same with Tesla, Nikola Tesla, who
Yeah.
had the his technologies, and they destroyed him. And even during COVID, when a lot of wonderful doctors who discovered ivermectin or other methods of helping people during this crazy time, a lot of these people were mysteriously suicide, mysterious
Hmm.
car accident or whatever. So when, people ask, why don't we know, or why haven't we known, or why aren't you known? It's because it goes against the agenda. It goes
Yep.
against business agenda. Now, if you're in another country, it's very different. Like for example, Denmark, the doctors get rewarded for how many people they helped get off smoking or lost weight, and
Really?
they get paid based on and rewarded based on those successes. Where is we're in we just give a medicine which is a money making cycle that oh, you got to take this medicine for the rest of the life, or you got to have a surgery, which is these are band-aids to the problem. They're not getting to the root cause. And that's why I try to really educate people to that fact that these are just band-aids. They're temporary, and they will very much likely cause another issue. And then you'll go back to the doctor and you say, well, now all of a sudden I can't go to the bathroom, or I have digestive problems, or I have acid reflux, or I can't sleep. And then and then you'll get another medicine and and another one. Another thing that, with when we see a lot of elderly clients, and I absolutely love seeing elderly clients, but
Hmm.
the average elderly client is on 20 medications because they're never
Yeah.
told to get off of something they were prescribed. They just got more
They
and more.
just keep, yep.
Yeah. So one of the first things that we try to do is to measure the effectiveness of each medication. And we can do that. We can literally take people's supplements and their medications, and we can put it in our technology, and it can show, is this still effective for them? Is it harming them, or is it not even doing anything? And a lot of times when they've taken these things for over, years, that the effectiveness is worn off. So we could actually say, you know what? This is actually not doing anything for you. This one is doing 3% help for you. However, you have four other side effects over here that are wreaking havoc on you. Are you sure you want to be taking these things? So we can help people navigate that a little bit. Because and a lot of times, when we work with people and we do colon hydrotherapy, that's where it's more than just a enema, or it's a lot of water coming through you and cycling through your gut. And when people have taken so many supplements, it's like sand just comes out of them, because all of those capsules, the plastics, the all the bad stuff, it's unbelievable what we carry around in our guts. And our guts are tied to our brain, and it's all linked. So yeah. I lost you. I can't hear you. I hope you're able to hear me. Oh my
Can
goodness.
you hear me?
I
Hello,
can.
hello, hello. My whole button stuck. I'm trying to talk. I'm so sorry. Okay, first of all, so this is fascinating because I mean, it's a shame that not everybody knows, but really, hopefully everyone's going to know and you're getting the word out there. But clearly, with the amount of clients you already have and you're helping people over the world, I mean, this is pretty impressive. I mean, from the beginning process of you use again, you can tell me there's some type of scan, right? When someone comes to the practice, what is the first thing they do? I know like an intake in a sense. What is the name of that scan that you do?
So it's a bioresonance scanner. They're hard to come by, but the scanner can, whether someone's in person or not, it doesn't matter. Like literally, I could snap a screenshot of you right here. I could print it out on my my printer,
What?
and I can take your date of birth, your address where you are. I could put it in my technology, and we can see everything going on. Whether it's a cavity in your mouth, whether it's hair
But I
fall.
thought I had to be there wear their headphones. I was looking online before, right? No,
Yeah.
no.
But if you're in person, yes, we're reading you with a pair of headphones, just a pair of
There you go.
headphones.
Yeah. Hmm.
And what it's doing is it's reading your energy. But if we don't have, let's say your energy, we get people to take a little sample of their DNA and their photo, and then we put that into the technology. And so it can read things like your voice print. Your voice is a unique signature. Your blood, saliva, hair, and fingernails or toenails are a great source of DNA.
Wow.
But we don't have to even use that. We can even use just a photo. And during COVID, that's what we were using. A lot of people didn't have access to their loved ones to get all those things. So they sent photos in, and photos can work because it's an energetic blueprint. And our technology can read the energetic blueprint of the actual photo and see all the things that are going on in your brain, your body, etc. So yeah, it's next level for sure.
Oh my goodness. And this is next level. I mean, there's so much. You do also the nutritional counseling, sound healing, there's ozone therapy, light therapy, uh, brain transformations, lymphatic drainage. Where did you want to kind of move on to next? There's really so much to talk about.
Yeah, there really is. But one thing I do want to say while we're still talking about the bioscan is that now we are no longer just, seeing people in person. I mean, obviously during COVID, we didn't see people in person.
Yeah.
But we can, if anyone, is listening to this podcast and has some issue that's going on with themselves or their loved ones, and we all know somebody who's dealing through something, literally they can, reach out to us. And yes, we do a consultation, and then we do get the what we need for the scan. And then the scan gives us a report, and from that report, we create a protocol. And usually we create a protocol that is like a 30-day protocol, because 85% of people will get either fully resolved, like 100%, or maybe 85% resolved in that first 30 days. Things like addiction and some stage 4 cancers and things like that can take more around 3 months. So we look at more of a 3-month commitment for that. But from the scan and from the protocol, then depending on what's going on. So a lot of times when clients have cancer, they're going through some treatments, chemo, radiation, and those often cause, for example, things like neuropathy. Neuropathy is the pain and the tingling in the leg, the numbness, and the hands or legs. And so, our light therapy can be a great solution for that. We can actually mail our technology to people's houses, the brain technology, we send the technology to their home and show them how to use it so they can really gain a lot of value. So they don't have to come into our office as well. So we do a lot of that where we rent out equipment based on what they need. Some of the things that obviously we can't, like we have our infrared saunas, people have to come in for that, our cold plunge or our ozone therapy, people come into the office for those things. But regardless, the scan can do it all. It
Wow.
can not only detect what's going on, but then we can send frequencies based on knowing what it is. Do they have parasites? Do they have a virus or bacteria? Are they exposed to mold at home? We can see all these things. Or do they have a 5G tower near their house? I mean, we can see all this stuff. And we can see emotions too. I mean, emotions are a huge factor in people going through what they're going. But even for myself, I mean, I will say, I have more, I prefer to do my pap smear, my annual checkups, my breast exams, or anything that I need through my system. I don't, if I need to know if I have something going on, I just go to the system and do it. So, unless, I think, if I was in a car accident or something, God forbid, knock on wood, that's when I'll go see the doctor. I need someone to sew me up and put my organs back in my body. But outside of that, I mean, there's a need for doctors. I'm not saying there's not, and there's a lot of good doctors and nurses out there. But we do have some incredible systems that we have. I wanted, if we have time,
Yeah.
share a story about this one woman. It was about her brain, and this was just another like wow moment for me. On a Sunday, there was this lady who was referred to me, and she was in the hospital in a coma. She had had a stroke, and she was described as a woman who really loved life. She was, just really young in her energy.
Mm.
And she had a stroke and she was in a coma. And her husband, they were estranged. So the husband really had no interest in her living beyond, just he didn't really care to have her living anymore. But the kids, there was 5 kids that were very concerned, and they wanted to know that they did everything they could before pulling life support from their mother. And the mother was on life support, right? So she was in a coma, life support, and the doctors were like, "Listen, um, you know, it's Sunday, and by Friday we really need to make a decision and probably pull the plug because your mother is brain dead. She's a vegetable, and we really, there's not much hope." And that's what the people were told. And so the kids really wanted to know, like, okay, let's turn over every stone before, we have to pull the plug on our mom. And I heard about this Sunday evening, and I agreed to go visit the mom on Monday. And on Monday, uh, the mother was in the hospital bed. She was in a coma, and I said, and there was 35 people in the room. I was literally shaking while I was trying to do what I was doing. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to first hook her brain up, and I wanted to see if there was activity. Because if I put the sensors on a book, there's no activity, right? If I put sensors on the brain, there should be activity. And the good news is, after I measured her brain, I saw activity in the brain. So I said, your mother's brain is not dead. And then they were so pissed because they were immediately like, let's go call the doctors, and the next thing I said, just because her brain is not dead, um, we need to know if her brain is able to make a change, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the next thing I did is I started to mirror her brain back to itself so the brain could start making a change, getting out of the stuck state.
Okay.
And so by doing that, I saw that her brain was making changes, which was really exciting. So then the 2 doctors who were her surgeons and or whatever, her primaries, came in the room, and the family was so upset. They're like, this person says, her brain is not dead, and she has activity in her brain, and her brain is making positive changes. And the doctors literally said, and I never heard this in my life before, but the doctors literally said, she has access to technology that we don't. And we have access to technology she doesn't. And that was just as that. Like, it was just a matter of fact. Okay, that's how they responded. So the next day, I worked on her Monday, and the next day, Tuesday, she was out of her coma. They had sat her up in her bed. She had her eyes open, and she wasn't able to speak. And I told the girls, the sisters, I said, if you want to get your mom off of the life support and not determined to be pulled by her husband, who has the rights, the husband had the rights. And whatever he said went, right? So I said she needs to be able to get to the point where she's communicating clearly and soundly to the doctors so that has her own
Make her
rights.
own decision. Yes.
So here we are Monday, and the thing that I said, we got to figure out something. We got to get her to speak. We got to get her to write. Well, she was paralyzed on the left side. Her face was like literally like down.
Drooping. Okay.
Yep, she was paralyzed in her arm and her leg. And that day we were moving her around, and I was doing the brain work, and she said 2 words, ouch and stop. So, um, so then then Wednesday I came in really early in the morning, and I saw the husband hovering over her, and he's like, close your eyes, close your eyes. He was so mad that she was getting better. And the nurses were so excited. And anyway, they had to have him removed from the room because he was so upset. He's like, I don't care if she can walk. She's getting, we're pulling the plug Friday. He was so upset. Anyway, they had to get him out of the room because he was causing a lot of upset. And we continued, and this was Wednesday, right? And they were going to pull the plug on her on Friday. And the nurses and the doctors, they were getting very excited. We even recorded, and we have this on our video testimonials. She was moving. She could move her leg. She could move her leg about like this. She could move her arm just a little bit. We couldn't really get her to say anything. But the goal was like, we really need to find a way for her to communicate, right? Blinking, or speaking or writing or something. So then Thursday, she still made more and more progress. But I was like, told the ladies as I left Thursday, I'm like, I don't know what you're going to do. It's up to you. I mean, like we've done everything we can. We got to figure it out. And I said, I went home Thursday. I got a call. No, I didn't just get a call. I had a video sent to my phone on Thursday evening, and it was her mother. And I still cry to this day when I see this video. It was her mother, and they had taught her mother. I mean, the mother was clearly of sound mind. And the daughters were like, okay, it's Thursday, it's 6:30 p.m. And the doctors were present in the room when they were recording this. And they're like, okay, Mom, do you want to live? If you want to live, raise your hand. And she raised her hand. And Mom, do you want to fight for your life? And she raised her hand again. And they asked many, many questions. And it was without a shadow of a doubt, like the mom was of sound mind. And she got her rights back to have her own decision of not pulling the plug, and they did not pull the plug, and she was out of the hospital within a week, and she lived another 2.5 years. So it was a great story.
Did she get a divorce from the husband, or I'm sorry.
I
Did
don't
he
know.
come around and apologize? Like, oh my gosh. Like, I mean,
know.
trauma
I
does
know.
things to people, but
Yeah, it was really bad. I mean, it was a great ending to the story. It was a
yes.
victory for her. She ended up getting a staph infection and had died 2.5 years, but at least she got that extra time.
Yes, that she was
And
so rightfully entitled to, and thanks to you, able to help the family figure this out. Wow, that is mind-blowing. That just got
one of my
me.
favorites, but we
That
did
is
get it on
beautiful.
video.
Well, those are the stories that, keep, wow, that just, everyone out there, if you don't believe, you have to believe. I mean, after you hear stories like this and see the testimonials and Ensele, my goodness. Well, thank you so much. And now we are out of time. I'm so sorry. But wow,
Pleasure.
mind blowing, tear jerking. Tell us how we can reach out to you, Celine.
Yeah. Well, of course, our phone number is 818-914-6924. And if you want to look at our website where we do the distance remote healing, it's called yourfrequencyhealing.com. And there's also contact information there. So thank you so much, Jill. I always love talking with you and having the chance to educate and help people from all over the world.
Really, thank you so much for this, and really inspiring so many to know that there is hope. There are alternatives, there are other modalities. Keep fighting. We all, could use the help, and this is just beautiful. Thank you so much. Amazing
Welcome.
story today. My
All right.
gosh.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Gotta go. Bye, sweetheart.
Bye. Take care.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.